cool. And I can't see any of you.
Except for you, but you're tall.
I am tall.
And you need to talk into the mic. You're a photographer, right?
And a writer.
And a writer. Oh,
Listen, I got to slip that in there.
right. All right, there you go.
Thank you. Dads tend to be our first heroes, our first idols. When we're children, they are often the smartest, strongest people we know in our lives. And my father, Mike, is no exception. When I was a kid, he would walk around and boast about how his experience as a track supervisor for Conrail, a railroad that some of you may know, gave him the equivalent of a master's degree in engineering. And of course, we would all, yeah, okay, that sounds great. No, son. It took me a while to realize that my name was Dave and not Son, but he said, no, son, I have the equivalent of a master's degree in engineering. Well, that's great, Dad. In the life of a Cub Scout, there is no more important day than Pinewood Derby Day. You go to your meeting and they give you this box, and inside this box is a block of wood. And you are to take this block of wood home and shape it into a race car. And then you bring it on a particular Saturday and you race it against the other Cub Scouts. And when I think to myself, I can't lose. My dad has the equivalent of a master's degree in engineering. So I get this block of wood home and I hold it up to my father and I said, Father, shape this into a winner. And he says, I know exactly what we're going to do with it. Great. We're going to paint it emerald green. Okay, but what are we going to do to shape it to make it a winner? I got that figured out, son, but trust me, we're going to paint it emerald green. Is it because we're Irish? Yes. Pidgeon? Yes. All right. So, the next day, he takes this block of wood and he drills a hole right up through the middle. And he puts a bolt up into it, and then he puts a tie down on it. And then we get, you know where this is going. We get spray paint and we paint it emerald green, and he takes a white tape and he cuts out a shamrock and he puts it on the hood and puts a racing stripe on it, and he says, behold, the winner. Pinewood Derby Saturday shows up, and of course you get into your Cub Scout uniform, you got your scarf, you got the badges and everything, the parents are there, your friends are there, you're about 10, 11, 12, so okay, your friends' sisters are there, and you're going, okay, all right, I'm going to win this today. So the Pinewood Derby track is this hill that runs the length of the school cafeteria, and the Pinewood Derby cars run along a rail. It's a raised piece of wood, a ribbon of wood that goes the length of the track. And they run heats to determine who's going to be in the final race. Now, my dad was not there. If you are the son or daughter of a railroader, you know that fathers are often not there for big events of your young life. That's how it goes. And in this case, he was called out to a derailment. My father also instilled in me a sense of competitiveness, because when you are the son of a railroader, you find out that life on the railroad has to be lived with every T crossed, every I dotted. Everything has to be done perfectly to the nth degree, or something bad can happen. And so at the Pinewood Derby, all I can think of is, I want that gold trophy. I have to have that gold trophy. Everything has to be perfect. Well, my heat comes, and I put my car up with the other 5. We stand by the side. The scoutmaster pulls the lever after saying, ready, set, go, and the cars race down the hill. Except one. And that beautiful emerald green car went about 2 feet. And it finally said to gravity, to hell with that. Now, I'm 10, and I remember standing there looking at it thinking, this is horseshit. See, dads can teach you language, and they don't even realize it. But something happened right there. Because there's a valuable lesson, I think, that we all find out in our lives. Yes, as children, our fathers seem like our idols, and that they're the smartest, strongest people that we know in our lives. But in that moment, I learned that fathers can be fallible, that they can make mistakes, And I remember thinking, not only did I feel bad for myself because my car didn't even finish, but he had failed. What had happened was he put the bolt up through the middle of the Pinewood Derby car, and the ass end of the bolt was dragging on the ribbon, and it stopped it about halfway down the hill. But I felt bad for him. I felt empathy and compassion. And those were words I didn't understand. I didn't know them when I was 10 years old, but looking back on it now, I understand that that's what I felt for the first time. So, dejected, I brought that car home, and I threw it on the bed, and I went to the living room, and I turned on TV, and that's when my father came home, smelling of grease, rust, body odor. If you're around railroaders, you know that smell very well. And he sits down, he says, "Son, how'd the Pinewood Derby go?" I go, "Dad, I didn't even finish." And he gets in the recliner, he pulls the recliner up, and he puts his arms back, he says, "Put the NASCAR race on." "Sorry about the race, son." And he puts on the NASCAR race, and I begin to notice how gorgeous the colors of the cars are. And I look over at him, and he's grinning, and he says, "So what are you going to do with that Best in Show ribbon?" I said, "Dad, I'm going to put it up proudly."